Up until this point, I've been spamming loop cuts. But we all knew it was going to come to this. I had to use the knife at the end. And now comes the really painful part. We have to cut open some holes into the car to make the windows and the lights. But how are we going to do that without messing up the shape? Oh, that's simple. First, we need to raise the subdivision appearance for the vehicle here to at least 4, if your computer can handle it. Oh my gosh, that pinching? It is. How do I escape that? Okay, well, first we need to duplicate before we do that. Do not increase the subdivision level any higher than your computer can handle. Okay. On the one that isn't a duplicate, raise it up to about 4. Then hide it. Select the one with that doesn't have a higher subdivision count, and start cutting holes into it using knife tool. You can hold the mouse button while you move around while doing this, but this is ill-advised for the simple fact that you might mess up and have to cancel the operation and start all over again. Do the same thing for the door here. For this purpose, I'm using the top. But since I'm here and I have these selected, I'm going to press 3 and select all the faces inside and delete those faces. Go back to vertex mode and knife my way out of this one again. That's right, we're HMO1ing our way out of this situation. I will explain how to fix the ungone situation when we get there. Just bear with me. Engons are faces that do not have three vertices, or even four. They have more, because two is an edge, one is a vertex. So naturally, any more is three being a tri and four being a quad. Anything higher than that is less than desirable. It 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 will look really wacky at the end of the day. Okay, so I can't cut that yet. I can't. I have to explain this right now. How do we fix this? Select them and join. I am internally panicking about this, but I'm just gonna go through with it anyway. Now for the lights, which means I'm just going to keep cheesing my way out of this using the J to join tool to get some tries going here. Because I'm not putting it with Ngons if I don't have to, and I'm not going to tell anyone else to. Okay, We cut ourselves the holes we needed. So now what? Now we add a shrink wrap modifier. And select the car. Oh god, I knew I forgot something out here. The back window, what am I doing? Let's make ourselves a back window. The cheese, the Jada Join cheese. So close. Jada Join. It means it means we have more tries and quads. But I'd rather have tries in my quad in my intended quad only topology than n-gons I could never get rid of, no matter how hard I try. So we stumbled into it, but we made it. We It's not exact, but we did get there, and we can edit this as we look around. From this point, we can just edit it as we see fit, as with the shrink wrap modifier activated on the original car. We would surely get the geometry we're looking for. Oh man. we would surely get the geometry we're looking for if we take the time to... What's the word I'm looking for? That's why I didn't do that. That's why I didn't do that. That's why I didn't do that. To refine it. That's what I'm looking for. That's the word. That's the word. Just refine it a little. Okay, I can do that. I can put up with that. From there all the way to here. Goodbye, vertices. Should have done that in the first place. At a later point in time, I will explain how to get some windows going in here. The windows and the car lamp, the lights. The windows and the lights. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. I do it now, but I spent enough time on it for one day. And at the end of all of this, when I put it all into a single video, which is unintentionally hours long, I hope to cut it down some. I will review the basic controls I used. Hopefully, minus the stumbling. Until then, please excuse me. There is one more thing I need to add to this. For this purpose, I'm going to duplicate this exact vehicle, this exact model, hide the one I just duplicated and call it Edges and Windows. Not the Microsoft kind. There are places where we want to add edges very clearly. There are parts of the car that are separate for the purpose, like the doors here. The question is, how do we display those edges? Well, let's line up some vertices with the edge of this door, for instance, which is very hard to see at this point with the geometry we've got going here. As I zoom in and move closer to edge slide things around, or in this case, vertex slide, then to save myself the pain, I'm just going to connect these two with a join. Connect those two with a join. And those two. And those two to make a vertex right there on purpose. Even though there was one that was closer. Yeah, we're slightly altering geometry here. Just bear with me. Okay. Now we've got that going. After all, this is a two-door car. We are going to use edge split. But first, we need to define the edge. We just made the edge, so let's select hold it, hold it. Select the edges in question. So we can I'll let you see in just a moment. Okay. You're going to need to see this in solid view. Control E from the edge menu and mark sharp. Doesn't seem to make much of a difference, does it? Here, let's keep those overlays off as we add an edge split modifier. But even before that, we need to add a solidify modifier to this to get it going. And place it above the edge split. Hold it just a moment. Is it the order of the modifiers that I'm not looking at here? I have a file for this. What file in particular? The last vehicle I used. The last vehicle I made. I'm about to have 4 separate instances of Blender open here. 4. I'm just waiting. As soon as it loads up, I'll see what the order of the modifiers are. I just need to make sure this works, that's all. I'm just going to wait patiently for that to load while I look around. Make sure everything's ready for the next video on this I make. I'm going to focus on lights. The lights in the windows. Then come the tires. The tires are separate. Still waiting patiently for this instance of Blender to load. Gonna go to object mode and choose shade auto smooth. For all the good that it did. Alright, it's loading up. Let's get started with this. Let's see where the file is and then see what the order of the modifiers are. The file is going to be a little slow on my end, but I'll close it as soon as I'm done. Order of modifiers is in fact very important. It could drastically alter how the object looks. I see as I wait for this file to patiently load. It's taking its sweet time. Oh no. Oh no. What is this? Oh. It only shows during subdivision 2. So it's okay without the subdivision, but not with. What's the modifier order here? Subdivision went last? Oh my god. Nope. There's a bevel in there, but no. I'm trying to process here. What if I go into the end panel and there we go. We don't need the bevel. Oh, it's lagging. Which means at this point, I have to apply the shrink wrap. Okay. Let's disable some of these modifiers for the time being. So with shrink wrap, it looks like crap, but under subdivision, but before the subdivision, it looked just fine. In object mode, I'm going to apply the shrink wrap, even though that was first. And there you have it. That's the result of the... Hold it. Has to be a number greater than 0. That's what matters. That's really what matters. I'm going to choose 0.1 for the time being. No, that's not enough. I'm going to choose 0.5 for the time being. There we go. That's a little better. But as you might have noticed, things are already getting gruesome here. Some of the edges do not look correct. And there's the fix. Increase the vertex crease. Let's see. 0.4. 0.45. Come on. No. Limit's 0.42. Okay. No. Limit's 0.41, isn't it? Just plain old 0.4? And as here, you can see things are looking a little wobbly over here. So you can't take the time to fix this of your own free will. I know I will. That's the whole point of me showing edge split, though. Then why do these edges look that way? This is wrong. So it's the edge split that's doing this. Found it. Disable edge angle and you should be fine. Why is it tearing apart? What is this? So there are irregularities with with this problem I'm suffering here. It works, but just about. I can't believe my attempt to show edge split resulted this way. Very poorly. It works, but just barely. Well, I got time. I may as well just explain the window part. But in order to do that, we need to add materials to this car. And so that's what we're going to do. There's going to be, I'm going to use a terrible material, but I'm going to use material nonetheless. Materials are found in this panel here. Now we need to add a second material and call it tinted glass. Because I don't quite know how to make car interiors yet. That's a whole nother story. And for this purpose, we need to go into this panel here and turn on screen space reflections and refraction. Why? Because when we go back in here, we're going to enable it here. The refraction depth needs to be something other than 0, a little higher. 0.01 should do it. Fill. I just remembered we can't fill the faces yet. We need to do this carefully. J to join right. F to make an edge. And we're not going to do an insane fill, but we are going to fill it right about here. But that's not quite the end of it. What I mean is, we need to correct what's going on here. This is an n-gon. This is a whole n-gon. We cannot have that. What is it doing over here? Oh, and before we continue, we can select this and to assign. So that's assigned to those vertices. But it's still not transparent. That's okay. We need to go to transmission and raise this up all the way to 1. But it's still not really transparent. It's rough. The roughness value needs to be dropped down to something low. Yeah, that sounds about right. There's no interior, but it works. I did say tinted, so let's tint it a little. There, that's better. We could, in fact, just grid fill this entire section. We could. We very well could. If it all would cooperate. What about here? Nope. I guess I just don't know how it works. For this purpose, I'm glad I didn't add too much geometry, but if anyone else does, I'm pretty sure they're going to suffer a whole lot of pain. We don't need that vertex. We really don't. But if we delete it, we'll break the geometry. So what do? We instead of delete, we go to dissolve and choose dissolve vertices. There. Now it's a quad again. A loop cut here to make life easier. And yet again, I must do the same thing here. And it is at that moment that I realized I was making faces and not joining the vertices. So now, this whole thing's a face. Well, gee. But we have the geometry necessary to tackle this problem, so... I keep forgetting that. J to join, not F for fill. And now we need to cut through right about there. So everything's a quad, not a tri. We can do the same thing here now. What the hell's Alt F? What's going on here? Oh dear. I gotta have an answer for this right now. That is strange looking geometry. I'll put up with it for now and just stop here. But the same thing goes for the lights. I'll explain that in a different segment.